My virtual assistant business 2XU is going to be hitting 6 years this October. Here are the things that I would do differently all over again, or if I could do it all over again. So I officially got my first client for 2XU in October 2019. I was 24 years old at that time now. Basically, officially 24 years old. I'm turning 30 basically in a few days as well. So essentially in the last 6 years, I've learned so many lessons, so many things that I would not do again if I was going to start another virtual assistant business basically in the future. And I'll go through my favorite things that I would do all over again if I had to restart 2XU. The first thing is to keep it intentional when it comes to starting a virtual assistant business or virtual assistant agency. And what I mean by that is a lot of people go into starting a virtual assistant agency because they're a virtual assistant themselves. They want to do it, they want to hire out someone to do the work that they're currently doing. But that was kind of the difference, I guess, for me is I actually was never a virtual assistant. And that's a common misnomer that I get in comments when I do interviews, when I talk on stages, basically, where people assume that I have also been a virtual assistant. But the reality of it is I was teaching people how to hire virtual assistants in a course, because that was a thing that I get asked over and over again, was how to hire online from the Philippines. And essentially got our first client from someone in the audience. So for me, because I had a level of separation, I guess, where I never really did the work as kind of the actual virtual assistant, I went into business mode of hiring people, managing the numbers, managing operations and all of that. I got that level of intentionality of I'm intentionally starting a virtual assistant business. I'm not just stumbling into it. So if you are a virtual assistant, or if you're someone who's thinking of starting a virtual assistant business, make it intentional that you are starting a virtual assistant business rather than you as a freelancer, you're just offloading your work to someone else. Because there has to be that level of, I guess, just management point of view. Rather than you doing the work, you're managing the people doing the work. Because when you are a business owner versus when you're a freelancer, you have to have that POV of I'm managing the business. I'm not the one doing the work with the client. I'm making sure the client is happy and the work is actually quality work with the people that I am managing. Not that me working is the people that I'm managing. So that's one that I am grateful for, that was kind of part of my origin story as I got started with this business. Second thing that I would make sure that I would do, because if I had to do it all over again, is to hire managers. And you guys have heard me talk about this in different videos, where one of the things that gave me so much relief at growing 2XU was actually hiring managers for our executive assistants. And we have pretty freaking fantastic managers as well. And it's not just managers who were in other virtual assistant agencies, was managers who had years and years of experience. I just really needed managers who care about the work that they do, who care about 2XU, and also love taking care of their people. That's been the biggest difference versus when I was managing 10, 15 executive assistants by myself as the business owner. It was really hard to get out of kind of just that day-to-day life. So for me, if you are going to start a virtual assistant agency, make sure to keep that in mind, that at a certain capacity, you're going to be either moving up one of the current assistants that you have into a management role if they want to. That's this next step that they want to do. Or if you want to hire managers into your business, it'll make your life a little bit easier, because you have people who basically their main work, their main focus is to keep your EAs happy. And then for you as a business owner, it's keeping your clients happy. It's keeping your potential clients happy as well. So whatever that looks like, I cannot stress this enough of having the right managers as a virtual assistant agency is going to change a lot of things when it comes to the longevity of the business, the longevity of the people who are staying there, as well as just overall kind of feeling that you don't have to be the one doing everything all at once. I definitely took too long before I hired our first manager at 2XU. I think 2XU at that point had already hit 3 years. So in the 3 years of running 2XU, I was managing everyone, both the clients and the EA, and that was just a headache and a half that I never want to ever repeat ever again. Now, the third thing that I would definitely keep and definitely love that I did have is I do have a co-founder. His name is Tom. You guys have seen him in different videos of mine. I've shared a stage with him. And because I did have kind of a co-founder / mentor, I had someone that I could ask questions that I could go back and forth with, just because running a business, starting a business is not an easy thing, especially when you have to do it alone. So I'm thankful that even though at this point, Tom is mostly on a consulting capacity, at the beginning, when I was starting to exceed, when I was starting to figure things out, I had him to kind of go back and forth with. I had him to ask questions. I had him to basically give me a little bit of that clarity that I would need at a 24, 25-year-old still kid technically. When it came to starting a business, I had a mentor who was able to guide me. So for you, if you're starting your own agency or your own business, if you have some sort of mentor or someone who you can work together with, it's a really good place to start, because at least you have that person you can work with, especially in like the hard times during that start of the business where you're still trying to figure everything else out. The next thing that I would definitely skip and not do basically when I'm starting my agency is not creating a good client journey. And that was something that, of course, I did have to discover on my own. I did have to find out as I was onboarding clients and adding clients into 2XU. But it would have been amazing if I was able to actually map out what it looked like for the client to recruit an EA, what their expectations would have been like, what their client journey would have been like, how they got started, how we got onboarded. Now we have a whole thing where when a client says yes, pays a deposit, they go ahead and receive like a couple of gifts from us. They then go ahead and, once they have the EA, they get started with the whole 90-day onboarding program. So there's a whole thing now. But I wish that was one of the things that I studied, was like just how to give our clients the best start when it comes to working with their executive assistants. And finally, the biggest thing that I would definitely keep if I had to start 2XU all over again as a business owner is I would just keep learning. I would just keep going to conferences, reading books, studying podcasts, listening from other people who have done it as well, because then I get nuggets and bits and pieces of what they've learned, what they've gone through. That's why I'm doing this video, is for if you're someone who's considering to either start a virtual assistant agency or you have one, of like, just keep learning, keep studying, keep being curious. We have AI nowadays where you can ask it to give you videos and courses and things to study if you want to start your own virtual assistant business. And because of these amazing mentors that I have met both in person and online, when it comes to growing a business, when it comes to starting a business, it's kind of given me this structure and this leg up versus like the version of me who didn't study, who didn't go through all of that. And honestly, when it came to learning from a lot of these amazing people, a lot of these great entrepreneurs online, I've been able to further myself versus just being stuck where I was and not being able to be this person where right now I am actually in Bangkok, Thailand. I am here for basically a month. I'm going to be traveling somewhere next month. I have published my own book. I have the podcast for 2XU. I have spoken in multiple stages. And a lot of that honestly came from listening to mentors or having really good mentors who were there for me, who understood what it was like for me to start a business that young, and also at the same time how to scale it and actually how to grow it. And as a bonus tip, systems. Build and document your systems, how you're doing it, so that when you're sick, when you're not there, when you're not in the business and you're out of the business, things can keep running without you. And this is kind of a little bit of a bonus tip, and it's something that we do specialize in 2XU, is building our clients' businesses when it comes to their system side. And it's something that we take pride in because we know how important it is to document things as much and as best as we can as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope this was a little bit informative. I'm thinking of doing a little bit of a series of this on YouTube in the next couple of Thursdays, and essentially post more lessons, more things that I learned the hard way when it came to starting my virtual assistant business so long ago. And of course, if you guys like this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button right there. Comment below if you guys have any questions at all when it comes to starting a virtual assistant business or agency. I would love to know. And if you still haven't yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of my videos every Thursday on how to start and scale your business online, especially with virtual assistants and AI. And if you want your virtual assistant to learn more about what they do as well, make sure to check out my second channel here and check out the latest video right here. Hope you guys have an amazing and fantastic day. And remember that small steps matters. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.